name is Wrath. I'm here with Mr. Pickles and Fred. We are here in Under the Table, which is a post-session talk show where we break down the session, the adventure, the campaign as a whole. Just kind of behind the scenes talking about it, Q&A, ask them whatever. Obviously, trying not to give away any spoilers, but it's pretty much open to discussion. So anything from chat, you guys are welcome to talk, discuss. I'm gonna have questions. Pickles might have questions. Fred might have questions. We can just kind of open up the floor. So, who wants to kick it off?
Me. I want to kick it off.
I'm ready. Kick off. Let's go.
Unless one of you guys had something more pressing. Obviously, I'll take
got nothing.
We'll have time.
Okay, so let's talk about the first sigil you guys have found. I know, Wrath, in the past you have tried to implement runes as a mechanic in games, and you found the first sigil in this game at the bottom of a goddamn lake. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
I mean, I kind of shared some of this during the game, but like, I feel like a superhero, but I'm also like, God, what a lame superpower. Like, only in water I can breathe. I don't actually swim fast or like talk to fish or like anything. I just breathe. Which, I mean, I guess is cool. If somebody tries to drown me, I can be like, oh no, you got me. Ha! Baby! But like, the chances that superpower will come into handy would be slim. But I guess it's cool that I have a superpower. So, I'm like excited because like I have a superpower. Like, I shouldn't be greedy. Like, I have a superpower, so I shouldn't be like really lame. Like, I have a superpower. That's pretty fucking awesome. But I'm also, I don't know. Like, it's this whole session has just kind of been a mind fuck to myself and Travis King, to where it's like there's so much going on. Like, this is such a big situation.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of strange things that you're finding are lurking in these woods. Just
not
out of
even
the perimeter
just
of town.
Not even just the wood, like everything. I mean, we've got alien monster megaloids made of clay. We've got crazy lady with similar blue eyes. We've got bear drug monsters puking into squirrels' mouths. We've got Paul. We've got
What's wrong with Paul?
I don't know.
He's like a homeless guy that you guys were very kind to.
I know, he's cool, but
that also has seen some fucked up shit.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, and then all the mimes, like there's a lot, and it's a little overwhelming from my perspective. It's a little overwhelming. But Travis is trying to take it in stride and like try and figure it out. And he's like, I got this, but in the exterior, he's really confident. It's like, no, we'll be all right. We'll figure it out. Interior, he's like, shit's fucked up. Like, what is happening? This is not a normal town. Kind of freaking out. He's trying to play it off like he gets up on, like, humor, I guess, is kind of his played off. And that's where, like, when they were yelling across the lake to each other, and Fred's like, you're being an asshole because you're being sarcastic and stuff. And Travis is like, I just slept underwater. Like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Let me make a joke. I need something to be normal. He's losing his mind a little bit.
Interesting.
Be nice if he didn't, but
Didn't lose his mind.
I sleep underwater. You phase out of existence. We both have powers. It's weird.
Okay, well that's just real life power. First off.
That's I don't even have to try for that one, man. I mean,
Fred, your thoughts?
So Fred was either buzzed, drunk, or hungover for most of today's episode. Mostly because he really wanted this vacation, but shit's going wild as per usual, and he's not at all happy about it.
He has bad luck.
It's getting to the point where he's blaming Travis for all his bad luck because, shit didn't go sideways until Travis showed up.
I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you. Not really.
Well, best and worst. I get like that comparison.
I do. Yeah,
his bad luck was probably like petty things. Like, you didn't get the promotion, that asshole that I don't want to talk about, detective, that is the only other detective in town.
What is his name? We've met him a couple times now.
I don't like saying his name.
Blake.
Because I don't remember. No, please don't make it Detective Blake.
No, it wasn't Blake. Wasn't it something like Blaine or something?
Oh, it's a B word.
He's a B
Bitch.
word. Detective bitch.
I don't think he's had like a prominent I don't think he's made an appearance, but
He is. He's big too. He was in the cave tunnel with.
No, that was Officer Haim.
Oh, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you're thinking of Officer Haim. He's a little dour, but who isn't in Golden Ridge after a couple of years?
Exhibit A. Fred,
I
wherever he is for all of you, he's over there for me.
Yes.
I missed that that part of the conversation. I guess
He's calling you dour. It took me a moment.
Yeah, after being in the city for a long time, dour.
He gestured to me, and I got confused. I was like,
he's a little bit world weary, and he's not exactly looking for the greatness in people, if you know what I mean.
So these sigils, I mean, as long as we're on the topic of sigils, I mean, we weren't looking for sigils. Have we seen anything that like would direct us that there were sigils even in existence?
No.
Okay, because you said we found the first of them, and I was like, do we know anything about these? I just found a stone under the lake.
That's more of a meta thing. I think we talked about this in one of the unaired under the tables for the first adventure.
Sorry.
Is you asked, so there was that gun in a burlap sack in the bushes.
Yep.
What if I didn't look there? What if I never looked there? What would happen? And I said, that's not relevant. Eventually, I would have one of my clues lead you there. You would have the opportunity to find it, because if I'm going to put something there, eventually, if you go into it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a gamble I took with this adventure, is that, I mean, you never know what you'll find when you follow a certain trail. And
I'm really glad I have the curious trait and that he has the brave trait. I will say both of those came in very handy, because
he has brave and cautious, though.
That's a weird mix.
Brave and cautious versus you're curious.
But I think he played it really. I will admit, I think Fred roleplayed really well this session, because you sitting at that thing at that bar for squirrels, being very still, fit the cautious, like I'm not gonna move, I don't want to piss him off, but fit the brave, I'm gonna stick around because I want to see what happens. Like, I'm not gonna run away, but I'm not gonna try and piss him off. I think that fit that really well. So I was glad that you stayed and went and did that, because that was something I wouldn't, like, that Travis King wouldn't do, and we wouldn't have learned what we learned if you hadn't have done that. So I think it's really good that you have those traits, that you role played that well and chose to do that. Just like how I was like, I'm gonna go investigate. Okay, I see something, I gotta go figure out what it is because I have the curious trait, and we learned something because of it. So I think both those are playing out really well in this game, and I'm glad we have them.
I like, Fred would never have jumped in a lake, to be completely honest. I mean, it's not.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not something he would have done. But
with his
you
luck, he's gonna
did
drown.
it, which means that he doesn't have to, and that we find things that
we play well off each
normally
other's strengths. Yeah,
we both play to our character's strengths.
I definitely agree. I think that showed itself more in this session than it has in any other session.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious about what you thought about it.
No, I mean, like, I just thinking of other sessions, like, I don't think there's been such a prominent case where at the same time there was an instance for you being brave and for me being curious and doing specific actions regarding that. None that come to mind as much as, like, this one is just very prominent in your face.
I recall the end, like, of the first adventure where you used curious. You crawled into the tunnel going down to see what was at the end of it, where these monsters were coming from.
That was the other situation.
And I'm pretty sure Detective was playing into cautious very well, but then brave to follow after
me. Yeah, that was the other situation I was kind of thinking of, but this one made more sense because we were both doing different things. That one as we were just kind of going together. But I agree with that sequence of events. It does play to our character strengths and equal out. So, yeah, no, I think, I mean, at the bottom line, we are role-playing our characters very well.
Yes. How do you guys feel as like just two players? That's a lot of pressure to put on both of you. Two players. Like I've been in a Call of Cthulhu campaign where it's like investigating something that's a detailed detective case, and I'm not that smart. So
That's
like
what I was just thinking. Not that you weren't
I've struggled with it where I'm writing things down. Well, I empathize with the feeling of being one of two players, and your other like in my case, the other player didn't seem as like invested, and I'm sitting there like scribbling down things, getting paranoid, and being like, okay, what if these things are connected? I need some red string, and like so I get there's a lot of pressure on both of you as two players, and I'm just checking in to see how do you feel about that trade off? Do you guys feel overwhelmed in that sense? Beyond the overwhelming from like bullshit's happening.
I don't feel overwhelmed. I think everything's going at a sedate pace. There's just not many clues for us to follow other than, oh, the squirrels are acting fucky.
Yes.
Fucky squirrels.
There's nothing really there. There's not a breadcrumb trail to follow like there was with the first chapter, I guess would be the way what to call it.
You're finding a lot of like hooks but no trails at this
Right.
point. I would agree with that.
Yeah, it is definitely very much two different adventures. I think I'm the opposite. Like Travis is overwhelmed. One, this is a weird town with a bunch of shit going on where he's like, yeah, I just find bail bond recovery stuff. Like, what the hell is happening? Like, I got squirrels that are like mad at me. Like, that's weird. There's mimes disappearing in explosions with crazy aliens chasing them. Like, that's weird. What the fuck? But so he's a little overwhelmed. But as far
Are
as
you
the
as a
two
player
players,
overwhelmed?
no. But this is the thing. So on the one hand, I would agree with what you were saying, where it's like in moments like this, where I'm sitting there like we're at the campfire, and it's like it's really hard for me to figure out what to do next. What is the next step? We've got a whole lot of shit, like you said, fucky shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do?
I called it bullshit.
Yeah, well, he called it fucky. The squirrels were being fucky, I believe.
They were being
yeah.
fucky.
So I'm sitting here like, this is where if we had a third player, maybe they would have more to contribute. But that's where you gotta have a good player. If you have a shitty player who's just like playing, what was it, playing RuneScape or something on the side, and you're like, what should we do? And they're like, what? I'm sitting on a stump. Then
I think it was a first-person shooter they were playing, but
oh yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
But yeah, and that's the thing is I think that 3 players is like the perfect quantity. Like that's the perfect thing where it's like, yeah, if you're all 3 like a good triangle, then everybody's getting a good amount of screen time as like they're doing their thing or they're contributing to the party, but also you don't have as much pressure on each player.
I would agree. I think relating this over to King's Crossing, when it was you, Fred, and Shifty, I feel like each of you kind of had a good amount of balance of
there's tempering to the dynamic.
Yeah.
And when it's just 2 players, it's very intimate in a sense where much of the story is how you two interact. What is your like general dynamic, and the mood between you changes everything in the plot.
It really does. Yeah.
And so if you guys are giddy and having a good time, and like this entire adventure would change if you guys were like super buddy about things and being like, oh my gosh, we're going on vacation. Okay, what can we do?
That'd be completely different tone.
Let's go to the other cabin. Let's meet the other people at the cabin. No, let's fuck this. They probably got stuff going. Let's go over there.
I feel like
if you guys,
we have a balance.
It could be so different.
we have a weird work balance. Like the instance where Paul approached the camp and like he moved around one side, created a distraction for me as I moved around the others. Like we saw what the other one was doing and we were able to play off that with some kind of knowledge where I was like, I know you're engaging with him, you know what to do. And he saw me and was like, I know what you're about, what I can see what you're doing. Let me help with that. And so he like talked up and created a distraction. And like moments like that where we played well off each other, but then other moments where we're like on the opposite side of the lake and he's like, you're an asshole. And I'm like, what the fuck? I feel like we fluctuate, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when shit hits, I think he mentioned this last week when he was like, when shit hits the fan, like we go into work mode. And when there isn't work to do, we're just kind of like bullshitting. And I would agree. I think that makes, I think it shows and it makes sense, and It's a weird balance, but it works. At least so far, it's worked. I remember after Adventure 1, I was a little worried. I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. But Adventure 2, so far, out of these 2 sessions, I've been like, we have a really weird but good dynamic between our 2 characters. In my thought.
It feels like almost like it's not allies, but you both are there for each other. Like it feels like a weird dynamic of just like distrust, but also I won't let you die.
Yeah, like he came and searched for me because he was like, that's kind of need you. Necessity. We're like friends out of necessity, but it works. So I guess
he made the joke about having to do paperwork if he died, but
right.
I mean that's what it is a joke.
I think it would be interesting. I'm worried about it, but like when things die down and we don't need each other, like what happens? Does it all just fall apart and we're like, okay, bye. Like I'm gonna go do literally anything other than hang out with you because now I no longer have to. But that shouldn't be the case anytime soon because right now with like blue-eyed aliens running around and kidnapping killing minds and stuff, like we're probably gonna be, because we both know what's going on and we know we can kind of rely on each other. So I feel like that partnership is gonna be strong for quite some time because it's not like that threat is just gone. Like when we get back to town, that threat is still there. So I'm still gonna be like, hey Fred, don't leave me. Like we still need each other, you know. So I don't think that's an issue anytime soon. But I'd say like at the end of the campaign, the whole campaign, I wouldn't be surprised if like it ended on like, okay, like handshake, good job, we did it, see you around, and like we move on with our lives. Like that would make sense. It's a weird way to end a campaign, like the campaign, but it would make sense and it wouldn't be like a bad ending. It would be like mutual respect. Okay, like I still don't like you, you still don't like me, but you did well, we did good work, we solved the case. Like
I kind of feel like that's the way it's going right now.
yeah,
I don't
it
know
could
if
change. Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to change between now and then, but for right now, that's what it feels like it's going to be.
yeah, it could very well change. Maybe like we pull god damn it, Jackie Chan and
Chris Tucker.
We could pull what's that movie?
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. We could pull a Rush Hour where, you know, they end up being best friends by the end of it. But that's the way it feels right now, and it wouldn't be a bad ending. Like I would consider that a win, and it would make so much sense, and it would be such a cool way to kind of end it. It's so different that I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But I think it works. Oh, it's weird dynamic, but it works.
It's definitely a weird dynamic.
As far as like having 2 players, like yeah, it would be nice to have a 3rd player to contribute and help us find the clues that we're missing. Because like when we get to an area where it's like a dead end, like we got to the crash site where there was just a bottle and the makeup kit, and I was like, is the makeup kit important, or is that just saying that there were mimes? Because like we knew there was mimes, or did we know there was mimes there?
You do know there are mimes.
We did after the fact because we got back and he told us that there was mimes on the military truck.
Yes, yeah, you found out that later.
Yeah,
but that was a clue, and having items can also help later on.
Yeah, that's why we kept them. I figured it might come in handy later on. The bottle of Happy Juice, we still don't know what's up with that. The scorch marks, we still don't know what's up with that. And when it pretty much came down to you're done here, there's nothing you can do, it was like, fuck, like I wish we had a 3rd player with a different skill set where maybe it would unlock other clues and we could get more answers. I think that's where the benefit comes from, is each player having their own skill set and bringing something to the table.
Yeah, it's really perspective, I think. Like having just that 3rd mind working on things, regardless of what their character's skills are, just like being able to add stuff and be like, hey, have we considered this? Mm-hmm. And I guess according to some dungeons and drinks and discussions, that
get my podcast name right.
Hey, I'm sorry, sir.
It's Brando. It's fine.
Yeah, I heard Brando was interested in joining this, so he might be a potential 3rd. Might bring him in for like the 3rd adventure. I don't know. I think he's a great person in my experience with him, like to join this if he was interested. But yeah, I think oftentimes early on in adventures, especially by me, is like the first session is okay, we got an idea of what we're doing. Second session, fuck everything. Okay, so we got all the hooks, And I haven't learned that lesson yet, that maybe that's overwhelming. But then as you go on, you're like, okay, so cat had blood on it. Okay, fuck it. And we got Spurs. Okay, people are fucking with this house. We found these stupid, are they related to the cemetery? These goblin things? And as you progress, then you like slowly start to digest all of the hooks I gave you. I think is how my format is generally so
I
far.
will say I like this is something that you do that I haven't really done, is where you've given each. Well, I guess no, I haven't really done this. You've given each player kind of different hints and different clues that they've uncovered, so that they can bring them together. Both one has value to each other, and it shows like, hey, you need me, I have this information, or hey, like I have value because I have this information. And so like he was able to get the information about bear monsters out in the woods. Like I don't have that. I don't have any information on that. Meanwhile, I have information like, hey, rune thing in the water, and like it's two completely different things. The only similarity I would say that I have would be I have two different groups, and like you guys are going to be investigating one side of this quest in King's Crossing, while my other group is investigating a different side in King's Crossing, and that is going to intersect at one point, and you guys are going to get more of a full picture of what's going on. And I feel like you're doing that, but between two players within one game, and I feel like it's great. I like it because it, you know, his character, like where I'm like, oh man, you're kind of an ass, but then he comes to me and is like, hey, I know stuff about bugbear monsters, and I'm like, oh shit, tell me, like I'm curious. And then he was like, I'm not telling you, and I was like,
Yeah.
But he did tell you.
no, he didn't. He said I went to bed. I'm not telling you.
I thought I could have sworn I told you I was telling you.
Yeah.
But did I miss it? He said, I went to bed, and I was like, oh, you just went to bed? And you're like, well, yeah, there's like crazy bear monsters, and I was like, oh, tell me about that. You're like, nah. I was like, oh, okay.
No, I thought I said there was zombie bears out there with the glowing blue eyes.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, tell me about that. And you're like, no. And then I was like, okay, you want to go home?
That
All right, well, notionally I told you then, because I meant to tell you. Even if I didn't.
Yeah, because remember, that's where I was like, oh, now I don't trust him again. We had this whole conversation. It was a whole open...
I thought
I
that
must have
I
missed,
don't
I
trust
must
him
have
again.
missed something then.
Yeah, I think I might have missed something too.
Me too now. Chat, help.
Okay, we're gonna have to rewatch.
I'm gonna have to edit
rewind
this
it,
video
everybody.
and figure out what the hell happened. But
Take the VHS out, put the VHS back in, rewind. Why did we take it out in the begin with?
So till next week,
Yeah, I guess till next week.
we'll find out what happens.
Travis King can breathe underwater. A question that I want to pose to him is, can you breathe other things without problem? Could you breathe nitrogen? Like if you're in a
I don't know
room
that I wanna
flooded with
just-
nitrogen.
God, I'm curious. I
carbon.
wouldn't want to go
Where's
test
the
this
limit?
stuff.
Okay, so you have the symbol of water tattooed on you, so I'm assuming you can only breathe underwater.
Perhaps.
I need to do research.
There's
'cause,
water
like,
and vapor on his arm.
hmm.
But let's just find out next time. What do these sigils mean? What are their limits? Are there like hindrances that come with this? Or is it just like I'm giving away edges if you discover things? What happens if you kiss a mime? I don't know. I didn't do it. But we'll find out maybe next time here on Strange Town of Golden Ridge. Can we end on something better? Monsters.
Paul's
and
a superhero.
zombies. Yeah, I guess he's Aquaman or Seaman. He's Seaman.
Why is Paul
Oh,
seaman?
boy.
He kissed a mime and was able to understand stuff. That makes him seaman?
No, you're Seaman.
No, I'm naked, man. You called me.
Well, you're the man of the sea.
You
able
said
to
you're
breathe
naked,
underwater.
man. I was like, I'm
Seaman.
naked, man.
Yeah. Seaman.
Anyways, that's it from us. Later, chat. Have a great night.
Yeah.
I'll see you all tomorrow.